How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new story. Today we have a story of another spoiled kid who does something absolutely crazy. This is another one of those stories of those spoiled kids who are just so ridiculous that you just can't help but just sit there and think, wow, these people really populate the earth with us. That's freaking crazy, bro. So with that all being said, leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing, and let's just jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted the story Adrian. And so there was a new kid who was moving into the neighborhood, and the new kid's mom reached out to a bunch of other kids' moms in the neighborhood because she was added to a neighborhood Facebook group or something. I don't know what moms do. I also don't know how Facebook works. I don't know much about either. But yeah, so the mom must have reached out to Adrian's mom and said, hey, I got a son that's your son's age. Or probably asked, if she has a son, how old her son is. And then, oh, my son's your age as well. So they got an invitation over. It was, this was all happening over the summer. I think the plan was that, the spoiled kid, or who they didn't know was the spoiled kid, but we're going to call the spoiled kid, right? The spoiled kid just got there, and the spoiled kid's mom is like, well, I want to make sure my son has friends as he goes into school. Obviously, I think all moms want that, right? So anyways, Adrian on one Friday night is driving over with his mom, and they're driving to a part of the neighborhood that they had never been to. I think Adrian would pass by it every once in a while, but it was like one of those gated communities, so you'd look inside the gates and you'd be like, dang, those are some nice houses, I guess. But this time, they were given the access code or whatever. Apparently, in this gated community, they would change the access code every single day. And, if you had a guest, you just give them the right access code. And people who had, lived there had accounts you could log in. That's unnecessary details, right? So they get the access code, they go to the door, they type it in or whatever, the gate opens up, and they go through. And Adrian is just stunned that houses like the houses he's seeing exist in the neighborhood with him, right? He's like, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. He passes by houses that are 3 to 4 times as expensive as his, and he doesn't have a inexpensive house necessarily. It's just a very normal, very kind of standard American middle class suburbs type house. But he's going through these mini mansion type houses. However, it only gets crazier because the spoiled kid doesn't live here. The spoiled kid lives at the very end of this gated community. And it was almost as if the houses became more and more extravagant the farther you went down. Maybe it wasn't as if. Maybe it just simply was that the houses got more and more extravagant the farther you went down. But anyways, Adrian is starts to say stuff to his mom wow, I've never seen any place like this. And Adrian's mom was very quick to be like, hey, make sure you don't say anything about it to the spoiled kid. Yeah, apparently, his parents do pretty well, but, it's pretty awkward and it's pretty rude to say anything about money right away. Little does Adrian know that the spoiled kid probably needs to learn this lesson himself. But anyways, they eventually make it to the kind of end of the driveway in a sense, and Adrian's mom's like, oh, well, there it is, 722 Plain Street or whatever. I don't freaking know. I'm not going to actually give it an actual address, but yeah, so Adrian is just looking at this house. And it is the most ridiculous thing he's ever seen. It's got 3-4 stories. It's massive. It has a massive driveway with a big old car garage. It's got a huge pool in the back that you can see spilling out. It's got a crazy... It is the most ridiculous house you've ever seen. Sure, it's not one of those Hollywood mega mansion $20 million houses, but it's the equivalent for a not normal person, but for a non-celebrity type person. This is definitely a house that a CEO of a really big company would live in, right? So Adrian was immediately pretty floored. And his mom's like, hey, man, remember what I said. Don't say anything about it. It's rude. Let's just go in there. Let's meet the kid. So they walk up to the front house. Yeah, they walk up to it. It's not as if they get out of the car and go to the front door. They legitimately walk up this big winding trail to eventually get to the front door. They knock on it. They wait a second. You hear the barking of 2 dogs or whatever. The door opens up, and it seems to be the spoiled kid's mom. It's like, oh, says the name of Adrian's mom. Oh, so good to meet you. They give the very fake mom hug. I think you guys know what I mean. And then she looks down at Adrian and is like, oh, you must be your mom's son. She says it, okay, she's using names, and the way I'm saying it is weird, but you know what I mean. You must be Kathy's son. Let's say her name's Kathy, right? And he's like, yes, my name's Adrian. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me today. And she's like, oh, thanks for coming. I know, spoiled kid. He's just really nervous about not making friends. So I'm sure he's so excited right now to meet you. She yells up, spoiled kid, your friend is here. And then you hear, Mom, I'm playing Fortnite. Go away. And you can see the spoiled kid's mom. Her face just goes like very freaked out for a second. And then she like almost like internally calms herself down. And it's like, oh, he's funny sometimes. He's such a little prankster. And like Adrian looks up his mom and Adrian's mom looks down at him because they're kind of exchanging a look of like, that definitely wasn't no prank, bro. Like, let's be real. This kid is already a menace. Like, I can already tell. So they walk into the house, and when Adrian walks into the house, it is like, once again, I mean, this is not a surprise at this point, as he's seen how extravagant the front of the house is, and probably, presumably, the back is. But once he enters the house, it meets expectations of being the craziest thing he's ever seen. The most ornate, decorated inside of a house he's ever been in. It's something that you'd see in one of those like celebrity or those crazy house magazines that's like, look at this person who's richer than you. You will never make this on your salary. It's like one of those type of magazines, right? That I kind of question the point of them existing. But yeah, so he walks up and or he walks like in and the spoiled kid's mom says, oh, spoiled kid's room is just up the stairs. And yeah, you're going to take a left and then you'll probably figure out where it is. So Adrian walks up the stairs and he's kind of hearing very faintly and then louder and louder as he approaches, kind of like Fortnite gaming noises, right? You know, shooting, building. I didn't play a lot of Fortnite, so my analogies will be a little bit off. But anyways, so he goes up the stairs and he gets closer and closer to a room that, you know, presumably is a spoiled kid's room. He knocks on it, and the spoiled kid says, it's just grunts. The spoiled kid's like, okay, don't make that weird, bro. But anyways, he just kind of makes like a weird grunt sound instead of actually responding. But, you know, Adrian wasn't going to wait outside forever, and he also knew for a fact that this was the spoiled kid's room. So he walks into the room, and he sees the spoiled kid behind this massive monitor, right? This very big, massive monitor. You would have thought that this guy was like an investment banker at like JP Morgan Chase or something by the size of these dual screen monitors. You would have thought that this guy was like some quantitative analysis guy working at a quant fund or something like that. You would have thought that this guy was getting paid $600,000 a year to do math models at 2 Sigma, bro. Like, this guy is just he's just building shit in Fortnite, bro. Like, you don't need this, but whatever, right? He gets into the room. And Adrian is kind of just like, he's completely blown away again, which I mean, he's kind of not blown away because he's expecting it, but he's just once again couldn't potentially expect this. Blown away by the inside of the spoiled kid's room. Just imagine anything you could ever want, multiply it by 3, and then add more stuff that you don't even know that you want in this room. And that is the spoiled kid's room plus some. This thing is the most like extravagant, like kids' dream type thing. It has the biggest gaming computer ever, huge monitors, you got the Lego Death Star, you got a huge rack of shoes or whatever, you got a big closet that's like very clearly very big, you got everything. You got the coolest light setup, you got, I don't know, charging port for his phone, iPad, literally everything possible. Like, I don't know how to explain it besides just imagine something unimaginable. That should be easy. Imagine something unimaginable, add 2 to it, multiply by 7, and you got the spoiled kid's room. So anyways, you know, Adrian says, hey man, what's good? My name's Adrian. And the spoiled kid doesn't respond to him. He's just playing Fortnite. And he's just like, he's cranking 60s or whatever. I don't know the phrase, sorry. He's just playing a bunch of Fortnite, not paying any attention to the fact that another human being is in his room. And Adrian's kind of thinking to himself, did this kid just not hear me, or is he ignoring me? And Adrian just kind of like thinks about it for a second and says, okay, this kid definitely heard me, because it's not like he had headphones in because the noise was super loud, like everyone could hear it. And like Adrian said it loud enough that the kid definitely heard. So Adrian just sits there, or stands there, I should say, awkwardly for 5 whole minutes. And that's not like an exaggeration or saying like, oh, I stood there for 5 minutes. Legitimately 5 whole minutes of this kid just playing Fortnite. And eventually he loses. He takes his fist, boom, slams on his desk. He's like, "You're hacking," and just like turns around. Is like, "Oh, hi there." Like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot you're here. What's good? My name's Spoiled Kid." Says his actual name, but my name's Spoiled Kid. What's your name? Brett? Adrian's like, "No, it's Ed." He's like, "Okay, whatever. What's good, bro? Like, what do you like to do?" And Adrian's just like, "Oh, I'm not Brett, but whatever." He's like, "I don't know. I like to go hiking. I like the outdoors. I like, spending time with my dog. I play basketball." And the spoiled kid's like, "Okay, cool, whatever. I play golf, Fortnite, and I like driving fast cars. Next." Adrian's like, "Dude, you're like 14. How do you drive fast cars?" He's like, "When your dad has a little bit of authority, you can kind of do what you want and not worry about it." And Adrian immediately is like, "Oh my God, I definitely am not going to like this kid." And he's like, "Oh, also another thing, huge fan of shoes, big shoe guy." And Adrian's like, "Oh, cool." Adrian to himself is like, "All right, I definitely need to just come up with a conversation. Like, I just need to come up with something." And he's like, "Okay, what kind of shoes do you like?" And the spoiled kid, like, gets off his chair, walks up to Adrian, looks down at Adrian's shoes, and is like, "Well, first of all, not those. Adrian's got, like, a standard pair of Nikes." Like, what? The very solid shoes, very whatever shoes. Spoiled kid's like, "Yeah, definitely not those, bro." Like, what? Dude, what? You get this from, like, bottom of the dumpster or something? And Adrian's like, "What? I've had these for, like, a year. Of course they're not going to be great." But he's like, "Aha, very funny, dude. Ah, you're so funny." Adrian immediately knew that him and this kid were not going to get along. But the thing is, he can't just go down and tell his mom, "Hey, this kid sucks. Sorry, Miss Spoiled Kid. Your son's the worst. We're leaving," right? Can't do that. It's bad etiquette, apparently. Not that the spoiled kid is having great etiquette either, but Adrian's like, "All right, I just got to power through this. Hopefully dinner's sick, and then we'll just dip out of here, and then I will never talk to him again." Cool, whatever. So they have a conversation, or I should say Adrian is being talked to. Conversation normally entails that it's both ways, but in this situation, it's literally just Adrian being talked to for like 20 minutes about the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid's not even talking. He's simply just bragging. At this point, to be more specific, he's simply bragging. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty cool. I got like this really nice shoe collection." And by really nice, I mean super sweet. "Yeah, I don't really see my dad that much." And, Adrian's like, "You're telling me?" And he's like, "Yeah, so he just kind of gives me a credit card and I can do whatever I want with it. And if he ever complains, I'm like, well, you're never here, bro. So it's either credit card or you're here." Adrian's like, "Damn, that's kind of sad." But anyways, the spoiled kid's like, "Yeah, so I've been buying all these shoes. I've been like spending a lot of money on this stuff, man. I mean, like, take a look at these Air Force, Nike, X, Gucci, whatever's." Come up with something expensive, right? He's like, "Yeah, these literally cost half a band, bro." Adrian's like, "What?" He's like, $500, dummy. And Adrian's just like, "Oh, what?" And he looks at these shoes, and they're like the ugliest things he's ever seen. He's like, "Bro, what? Just got like a pair of clean Nikes, bro. What are you doing with all this?" And the kid's like, yeah, so these are limited edition. They're exclusive, small batch. I've definitely, like, when I was, a couple of days ago, I was walking in the mall. So they had a mall around them that was like a fairly popular location. He's like, "Besides it being super grimy, like, I definitely caught a bunch of diseases from there. Am I right?" Adrian's like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, I was walking around in these bad boys," and points to like the Nike Supreme bricks or whatever he's wearing on his feet. And he's like, "Yeah, I was like walking around in these, and like all the chicks, all the baddies, bro, were totally looking at me, and they're like, whoa, I know those shoes are $500. Adrian's just like, "That's definitely not real. That's not a true story. That's not a true story, man. That's fake news." But he doesn't say that. He's like, "Oh, for real? You talking to any of them?" He's like, "No, they totally wanted it, but like, nah, I'm a pass, bro." And Adrian's just looking at this kid. In his head, he's like, "This might be the worst kid ever. Like, I thought he's going to suck, but this is just whole new levels, right? I guess this is, just whole new levels of just sucking. Wow. Okay, cool. Noted. Good to know. I will make sure to tell all my friends how I really feel about you. Anyways, yeah, so the spoiled kid goes on to talk about, shows off some other stuff in his room. He's like, oh, I got something to show you. And Adrian's like, yes. He's like, come with me. So they walk down the stairs, and they pass by the spoiled kid's mom and Adrian's mom sitting there. And Adrian's mom looks like she's having a decent time talking to the spoiled kid's mom. Like, they're just talking about mom stuff, like, the weather is nice today. I don't know what moms talk about, bro. I don't know. But anyways, they walk down, and Adrian's mom looks over and kind of gives the spoiled kid's mom looks over and gives the spoiled kid a thumbs up. The spoiled kid's like, shut up, mom. And they, they keep walking. They go out the door, and the spoiled kid is taking them around back. He's like, yeah, so I just wanted to, I thought I'd show you some cool stuff. Like, you definitely don't have access to stuff like this, so you're welcome in advance. Adrian's like, don't punch this kid in the face, bro. Hold it together. Don't drop kick him in the nuts. Just deep breaths. Zen meditation or something my mom was telling me. Just hold it together, man. Hold it together. He's like, yeah, so if you want to take a little look over here, and he goes over to the garage. Goes over, types in a PIN code or whatever. He's like, you didn't see my code, right? Adrian's like, no. And the spoiled kid's like, you're totally lying. I know you're definitely going to try and lift one of these cars, but don't even try it, bro. They have trackers on all of them, and we will come and get it. Adrian's like, I wasn't going to lift your car. What are you talking about? He's like, whatever, man. Anyways, so I know this is a big opportunity for you, because you probably will never, ever have access to, look at these, let alone, even get near one ever again. Adrian's like, okay. Word, bro. Cool. And this, it's like, yeah. So you take a look over here. This is my dad's Aston Martin. Got a Mercedes C-Class. Got a, this one's not bad. This is a little sports car over here. It's not too bad. He says the name like Ferrari, Bugatti. The cheaper one of the two, they're both super expensive, but you know what I mean. Not I think one of them's crazy, and one of them's crazy. So he's like, yeah, and there's some other stuff, but you maybe want to sit in one of these cars, and I can take a photo of you in it, so you for a second you can be like, oh man, look at me guys, I'm in this car, even though it's totally not your car and you totally will never have one. But if you want to take the photo, I will give you the opportunity, because I'm just nice like that. And Adrian is just like, oh my god, this kid's the freaking worst. Yes, you guys might be thinking this kid's pretty bad. Well, let me just say that he goes full mask off. He gets super blatant. And he actually, believe it or not, gets worse. Just literally give it a second, dude. Real quick. God, my voice is broke. Sorry. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment spoiled down below. I know, it's the same word almost every time. But one of these times, I'm going to change it. And you sneaky, you, I'm looking at you, being all sneaky or whatever, you're going to comment spoiled in 5 minutes into the video, and it's going to be potato, and then you're going to look like an idiot. So always watch till this part of the video. I'll try to heart as many comments as I can to say spoiled, as I appreciate you guys making it this far into the video. Spotify down below, full-length videos are in there. TikTok down below, short-form videos are on there. Follow me in both those places, help the channel out. And finally, the best thing you can do, literally, is just after this video, watch another one of my videos. Binge watch or just watch a bunch of my old videos. It really does boost the channel. Easy way to do that is the Storytime playlist of all my old stories. Pin comment down below. That all being said, let's just get back to it. Not trying to waste your time. So anyways, right, the spoiled kid. Yes, the spoiled kid. You might be thinking, well, this can't be much worse. This kid sucks. You're not wrong. This kid does suck. But it does get worse. I hate to break it to you, but this kid actually finds a way to somehow get worse. And, yeah, you're about to see that. So anyways, eventually Adrian the kid go back upstairs. He's like, all right, well, they walk up to his room, and the spoiled kid's like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna roast some fort right now. You can, stand there or something. Just don't break anything, because I will make you pay for it. Which is bro, what? Yeah, so... This guy's just standing in his room as the spoiled kid watches him, and yeah, he's just kind of like standing there watching the kid play Fortnite. And that's when the kid's mom, the spoiled kid's mom, yells down saying, "Boys, dinner time," or whatever, they're saying, whatever, right? And the spoiled kid's like, "Mom, I'm playing Fortnite." Like, just completely taking it out on her for no good reason. And, Adrian's just standing there so awkwardly. Because it's like, yeah, my mom and I have gotten into disagreements before, but I'd never take it out. Like, I'd never do something like that. And I 100% agree with Adrian. Like, that's ridiculous. Can't be yelling at your mom like that. I really don't care what it's about, bro. Even if she's doing something a little messed up, you gotta sit down, say it politely, say it nicely. You gotta, come on. There's no other way, man. Anyways, though, so Adrian's just staying there really awkwardly because he's like, man, I'd never disrespect my mother like that. If you have to learn one thing from the Connor Pugs YouTube channel, just be nice to your parents, right? Respect them for what they've done, unless in very few situations, then there's always exceptions to rules, but generally, accept that as a rule. Generally, remember, I'm saying generally. Anyways, though, yeah, so Adrian is just standing there, and this guy, this spoiled kid, he's actually all right at Fortnite, well, because he spends all his time playing it. So the game goes on for another 5 minutes, and the spoiled kid's mom, once again, yells up to them, being like, "Hey, your dinner's getting cold." And he's like, "Shut up, Mom! Shut up!" And, like, Adrian's just standing there so stunned, because the first time was aggressive, but this was, like, low-key out of left field aggressive. Like, this was kind of crazy aggressive, right? So, yeah, and I'm sure the spoiled kid's mom was, like, super embarrassed in front of Adrian's mom, being like, "Oh, how did you raise your son? Does he do this to you? He doesn't? Oh, that's interesting." You know what I mean? So, yeah, Adrian is standing there, and then eventually the spoiled kid loses, and he literally takes his mouse and throws it against the wall, and it, like, explodes into a million pieces. And this is definitely, like, a $100 mouse or something. And, he's like, that guy was so cheating, bro. And Adrian's like, "Oh, my God, like, do you have another mouse or something?" Spoiled kid's, "Yeah, like, I got 15. I break them all the time." And he literally walks over to a drawer, opens it up, and there's, like, 15 $100 mouses. You know that you're a spoiled kid, right? When you buy $1,500 worth of $1,500 worth of mice because you break your mouse so often that you just need to, you need to have 15 on hand at all time. Like, that's the mark of the spoiled kid right there. But it gets worse. Yep, it gets worse. So eventually, spoiled kid and Adrian walk down. And at the dinner table, there's, like, I don't know, some kind of meal in the center. And it looks really good. It's, like, a very fire meal. So, like, they're going around passing it down. And the spoiled kid's mom's like, "So, Adrian, tell me about yourself." Like, whatever, right? Adrian's like, "Yeah, my name's Adrian. I like, going outside, playing time with my dog, basketball." And she's like, "Oh, spoiled kid used to do basketball in second grade with his little buddies." And the spoiled kid's like, "Yeah, I don't do it anymore because it's, like, so stupid or whatever. I'd rather play Fortnite in cars." And he's, like, literally on his phone the whole time, by the way. So for the next duration of this kind of, like, conversation, spoiled kid's on his phone. Like, he's not paying any attention, or he's paying at least half attention, right? So, yeah. Sure enough, eventually the spoiled kid's mom's like, "So, tell me a little bit about your school." The spoiled kid mutters under his breath, "Poor person school. Oh, this should be so great." Whatever. And, like, everyone heard it. Like, he didn't mutter it under his breath in a way that people didn't hear it. He muttered it under his breath in a way that everyone heard it. So, like, spoiled kid's mom, her face just goes, like, drops again. Just like, oh my God. And, Adrian's mom was kind of a little shocked because besides the first thing she ever heard the spoiled kid say that was pretty crazy was yelling at his mom, And this, she's like, okay. Adrian is, like, kind of trying to take this comment in stride, right? It's like, yeah, it's cool. A lot of good people there. Teachers are fine. School is nice enough. And the spoiled kid's like, "Bet the school sucks and it's ugly. Because all the pores are there." And Adrian looks over at him like, "Bro, we can hear you. Like, I know that we can hear you, but you're almost as acting as if, like, you're talking to some, like, audience that doesn't hear. Like, why?" And Adrian just kind of looks at him, and the spoiled kid's mom has this, like, big smile on her face, like, "Don't listen to my son. He does not represent me or my family, right? And she's like, oh, that's so great. Yeah, tell me about your school. Like, what do you guys have there? And he's like, oh, so we got, like, basketball court. What else do we have, Mom? And, Adrian's mom's like, oh, well, you guys got a park or something. Spoiled kid's like, but you guys got a crap-ass park. Lol. They're all just looking at him like, bro, shut up. And he's like, basketball court? Figures, bro. Do you guys not even have, like, golf course or something? And Adrian looks at him. It's like, bro, we do not have a golf course at our school. What? This is like high school or middle school, bro. Wait, what middle school did you go to, dude? He's like, whatever. I'll get used to it. Everyone has to make sacrifices, I guess. And conversation goes on. More details I don't really need to give you. But at some point, right, the spoiled kid, like, turns to his mom. He's like, Mom, do I really, can you not just, like, put me in some, like, private school or something? Like, please? Or can you just, like, homeschool me so I can play Fortnite all the time? She's like, no. Your dad and I both went to our local public schools, and it was a great foundational period. We learned a lot about character. We made some of our best friends. Like, we think it's important for you. And they start having this whole conversation, right? While Adrian and his mom are awkwardly sitting at the table. And he's like, Mom, I've told you this before, but it makes me really uncomfortable when I have to sit next to people who are of a lower socioeconomic status as us. And, like, Adrian and his mom are just looking at each other like, bro, he just said that. Dude just went full mask off. Yo. Yeah, so, and, like, Adrian's mom is like, Spoiled Kid's mom is like, you will not speak like that when we have guests at the table. Implying that, yeah, speak like that when we don't have guests at the table. It's totally chill. We love saying stuff like that around here. That's us. That's what we claim, right? Like, what? But anyways, Spoiled Kid's like, Mom, you know what? You're always telling me to, like, I should express myself and I should say what I'm thinking. And she's like, I don't say it. And he's like, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Adrian over here. And Adrian's like, oh, God, it's looking real poor right now. And Adrian's mom just like, her face is like, bro, what? And Adrian's low-key just laughing at this point. He's just laughing because he knows this kid's the worst. He knows this kid sucks. And he knows this kid has a long way to go to fix his character. So he's just dancing, bro. He's just laughing. He's Josh, and he's goofing around right now. Like, he honestly doesn't care because it's like the funniest thing he's ever said or ever heard. Because, like, look, Adrian doesn't care. Adrian's comfortable in his life. He's happy with who he is. And he gets to watch this spoiled kid have a meltdown because he doesn't have as much money as him. Like, that's the goofiest thing ever. Plus, it makes for a great story. And Adrian's mom, or spoiled kid's mom's like, you will not speak like that to our guests. They came all the way over here, and we are grateful for them to come. Aren't we? And he's like, they should be grateful for us. I mean, look, I showed Adrian over here some really sick shoes and some really sick cars. I know for a fact that with like his money situation that he would not be ever setting foot anywhere near this car. So, like, they should be thanking us. And Spoiled Kid's mom's like, I do not want you at this dinner table anymore. Spoiled Kid's like, good, I'll go play some Fortnite. He literally gets up, knocks over his glass on purpose, and walks upstairs. The Spoiled Kid's mom is just sitting there. And she's just like, I'm so sorry, right? Adrian's mom's like, it's okay. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, I don't know what's gotten into him. Maybe I should bring him on Dr. Phil because that will fix all problems and definitely not just air interpersonal, inter-family issues that don't actually get fixed just for views or whatever. But I don't know what to do. And Adrian's mom's like, well, I think you're doing the right thing by sending him to, like, public school. Like, obviously, he's going to have to learn a thing or two about life. Look, you still got a chance. Just stick with it. Look, I'm here to help if you need anything. I do think we're going to go, though. And she's like, I totally get it. So Adrian and Adrian's mom get into the car. And Adrian's like, why are you so nice to his mom at the end? And Adrian's mom is like, You know, the spoiled kid might have been super awful, dude, but I don't know if she said dude. She's probably like, spoiled kid, I know he was the worst, but, you know, his mom seems really nice. She just seems overwhelmed by the whole situation. And when people are struggling like that, you know, it's always good to reach out and help them. And, you know, at this point, what's the worst? What's the worst that can happen? Either the worst has happened and nothing changes. The best that happens is I can actually give some guidance, and the spoiled kid's mom can fix his character, because it's definitely not so great right now. And Adrian kind of agreed. And moral of the story is,